Tarzan is low-key racist. That's kinda a weird thing to say since I'm black and I'm making sounds like an ape, but trust me, I can explain. Tarzan wanted Jane so badly, he even sacrificed his father figure. Kerchak told this dude, don't bring any humans to our tribe, but our dread-headed protagonist thought if he impressed Jane's friend Clayton, maybe Jane would let him clap her cheeks. Now don't blame our boy Tarzan, that brother must have been starving for years. Tarzan has a flawless physique, but he's utterly flawed psychologically. You know, if I too was in Africa stranded with a bunch of gorillas for longer than a decade, I too would start to go crazy. Disney was really in their bag when they made this movie. If they made Tarzan have any melanin, oh trust me, they're going to have so many lawsuits that the company would be standing on its last legs. But luckily for the mouse, Tarzan is a Caucasian man who walks on all fours. Smart move, very smart move. The whole premise of this movie is about a tree climber who has to fight some tea drinkers from Europe before bringing them to his family, but Tarzan decided to be a traitor and leave his day ones behind the minute he saw a female that can actually be his mate. Kind of like some of my boys from back in the day, they just leave you when they start spending too much time with the opposite gender. They're like, damn, I actually found a woman who likes me even though half the time I'm retarded. In this case, Tarzan abandons his boy Tanto and leaves his female bestie Turk behind. These three were like the perfect trio. They go all the way back since the times of them sitting in the lake and picking each other's fleas or whatnot. Tarzan basically put Turk in the friend zone because she's not the prettiest girl in the world. You'd think that after all this time in the jungle he'd be attracted to gorillas, but it turns out that Tarzan is the X word. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Tarzan is xenophobic. He only likes white women who wear corsets. Bro saw a baddie for the first time in his life and he forgot who he was. This is the same dude who can go 10 toes with Kerchak, a gorilla twice his size, but when this British woman first looked his way, it was love at first sight. This entire film's first act is just an insane speedrun to get to the nitty-gritty of the plot. Long story short, Tarzan's biological parents get killed by some wild animals and this gorilla hears the commotion from miles away and happens to find this baby. This baby is no other than Tarzan. Like everything is just conveniently laid out so we can get this show on the road. Like I know wild animals have good hearing, but come on bruh. She just perks her ears up like a dog and starts running like she's the main character from Temple Run. Then she sees a foreign baby and suddenly her motherly instincts take over and she decides right then and there to adopt this pale ass kid. Tarzan's biggest flex in the jungle is that he can carry his body weight on his knuckles, and for some odd reason his loincloth never shifts to expose his third leg. They clearly stole this from George of the Jungle, but hey, that's a story for another time. As in for years, Tarzan spent his free time swinging through trees and touching other gorillas. Not like that, because as I mentioned earlier, Tarzan is xenophobic. Okay, let me stop saying that. Maybe he's nothing like me, maybe he just has morals. The dude just didn't want to commit bestiality. I get it, I respect it. Okay Tarzan, good for you. So the main antagonist for this film, for the most part, is his adopted father. This is villain number one before the real villain comes through, that being the British. This movie is basically using the whole British are bad people stereotype to their advantage. Oh look guys, the British colonize everything and everyone. There's this adventurer named Clayton who shows up and tricks Tarzan into showing him where the gorillas are because Clayton wants them for his own personal gain. He wants to put them in cages and send them back to England and sell them. If they retaliate, he'll eliminate them with his big fancy gun that he carries everywhere. I think it's big because Clayton is compensating for something else. This entire storyline is obviously a nod to the slave trade. Why am I not surprised? Because it's not like Disney has taken a historical moment before and made it a box office hit. Back when I first saw Tarzan, I was too young to know what that was, but now I see everything, I'm like, yeah, Tarzan good, British bad, ape man in love, elegant woman is willing to get pregnant by this primitive dreadhead, a storyline I've seen in real life one too many times. Like throughout this film, Tarzan is forever rubbing and touching on Jane without her consent, but she likes his eyes so she lets it slide. If I was to do that, I'd be facing jail time. And that's just how it is. This is the classic Disney formula about how love always prevails, blah blah blah. You know how the story goes. At the end of the film, Tarzan finally defeats this arrogant British man, but since he's a good guy, Tarzan tried to help him, but instead Clayton ends up getting murdered by nature's very own noose. They never showed it in the film because I'm sure this is rated PG, but when I saw it again I was like, damn, that's dark even for you, Disney. Some people say the whole point of this movie is to show that even though on a surface level it seems as though Tarzan is the barbaric one, he's more humane than Clayton. Clayton is the real savage, yet he holds himself to such a high regard simply because he's gone on ventures across the globe. I think everyone is wrong. I think this film is about what a man is willing to do for a bad bitch. Man put on a suit for the first time in his life and decided to leave the entire continent for a woman he's known for like 3 weeks.
The Big Dipper.